Hey, what up, guys and girls? Hope you guys are well and you enjoyed the weekend's action of Super Rugby AU and Aotearoa. It has been quite a fun weekend, an interesting one, setting up especially the finals rounds coming in Super Rugby Aotearoa. I'm just going to give a brief chat about what I thought about the weekend's matches. So I think the Blues and the Chiefs one was quite a nice one to watch. Mainly because both teams had so much to play for. The Chiefs, obviously having lost at a point in time five in a row and wanting to change their fortunes. And of course, the Blues, they want to get closer to the Crusaders after back-to-back losses to the Crusaders and the Hurricanes. So there was a lot to play for in that match, and it had a very much a test match sort of feel to it because you could feel that both sides didn't want to make mistakes, but they also don't want to creep into the shell too much. But at the end of the day, the Blues got a hard-fought win over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are now 6-0. So it's not looking good for the Lions coach. That's going to come to South Africa next year to face the Springboks. But you know what? A lot can change in a couple of months and even in a year. And I read an article this week saying that maybe the style of Warren Gatland playing it safe, it's very similar to Rassie Erasmus. It's not working as well for the New Zealand sort of blueprint where they tend to give the ball a bit more air. So the players probably haven't adapted to Warren's style of play. It's not that he's a bad coach, but it's just a case of players needing to adapt to the style of Warren Gatland. But obviously, the big upset of the weekend that basically opened everything up for the Blues and for themselves was the Hurricanes win in Christchurch over the Crusaders by 34 points to 32. It was an entertaining game to watch. Also, very much a test match style. I enjoyed it. I actually covered the match on my page. I did a bit of voice commentary for the first time, so that was quite fun. But you know what? It wasn't my best work, I'll be honest. But in any case, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was the last match of Ben Lamb as he leaves the New Zealand shores for greener pastures. I'm not sure where he's going. I think it's Harlequins or Leicester Tigers. I'm not exactly sure, but he's going to go offshore. But they found a very able, or even more than able, replacement. The king, the bus is back. Julian Sevilla joining Ari Sevilla back at the Hurricanes for the remainder of the Super Rugby Aotearoa season. As far as I know, Julian still has to do 14 days quarantine upon arrival in New Zealand, but that's about it. Then he's free to play. So I think for the next couple of weeks, I think if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, there's about 4 weeks left of Super Rugby Aotearoa. So in the next 4 weeks, things can get very interesting. So the Chiefs play the Crusaders this coming weekend, and as far as my knowledge stretches, the Chiefs will be desperate for one. And secondly, if there's one team that normally gets under the skin of the Crusaders, no matter how bad they do, it's the Chiefs. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah, 2 seasons ago, the Chiefs were also in a dire state. I think they lost 4 on the trot, and then they ended up beating the Crusaders by something like 40 points to 27. So I wouldn't write them off to actually pull an upset here. But I don't see the Crusaders losing back-to-back matches either, But they are playing in Waikato, so maybe the home advantage should help the Chiefs. And now on to Super Rugby Australia. Yeah, look, there's obviously a lot of talk with the Trans-Tasman competition that they want to implement, the New Zealanders, that is. If they want to sell Super Rugby between Aussie sides and New Zealand sides and maybe a Pacific Island somewhere, they're gonna have to get the stand up of Aussie rugby because it's so poor right now. And it's not me being a hater or criticizing Australian rugby, but I mean I've been doing commentary for Rugby Pass and Rugby 365 for the last couple of weeks, the text-based commentary, and it's so frustrating to actually do a match and there's no action in it. You feel like you're repeating yourself all the time. Like I think in the Force Brumbies match, the last 15 minutes, I probably typed in scrum reset, scrum to the force, knock on. Those were the keywords I typed in for the last 15 minutes. And that's not the type of rugby you want to see. And then the Aussie commentators at the end of the match would have the audacity to say it was a high quality Australian derby. I was like, honestly, high quality. I just watched the Hurricanes beat the Crusaders in Christchurch in a pulsating close match. The Brumbies smashed the Force, but it wasn't a great game overall, except for the first 2 tries they scored, and you call it high quality. I mean, there's a lot to be desired about Aussie rugby at the moment. I'm not even sure if there ever will be a Force in world rugby again. like they were in the early 90s and late 90s as well. But nonetheless, and some other news on the rugby front. We'll talk about the Trans-Tasman competition when there's more information. At the point in time, there's still a lot of things in limbo, a lot of uncertainty. Even I think it was Andy Marinos saying that South Africa is still bound to SANS, also they have to see out those contracts, but there must be an exit clause somewhere for New Zealand to be planning this new competition. So I wouldn't take it with too much worry that as a we South Africa, we might be out of Super Rugby. If we are, so be it. If not, it's okay. I'll be okay with whatever happens, because at the end of the day, for South Africa to move north is probably the best move financially, and also in terms of time zones, with travel and all those little things that contribute towards player fatigue and player welfare and all those stuff. And the last bit of news on our front, on my front at least, the Stormers and Western Province have a potential buyer. The media say it's an American, but it's actually a South African that has been working in America for a long time. And he wants to buy the Stormers for 100 odd million rand. Now, as far as my knowledge stretches, and according to reports, he wants 51%, and Western Province actually wants to give him only 49%, according to the constitution. Now, if I were in deep trouble financially, and I get a lifeline, and I just got out of jail with a deal that might not suffice in future, because I'm still not convinced about this flight deal and Areas and Investec that was sent packing, after things look promising. So if I get an investor and he wants 51%, and my constitution says but he can only get 49, I would literally not even bend the rules. I would absolutely break the rules and say, you know what? This is what you want. We want to be a force in the rugby for the next 15, 20, till the end of time years. And if you want your 51%, you can have your 51%. We can drop contracts, stipulate clauses, whatever the case may be. Make sure it's fair for everyone, that everyone gets, good treatment, and that the union at the end of the day will get, good revenue, and also get good crowds in and play winning rugby and win trophies. I mean, as a Storm supporter myself, it's so frustrating with the talent we've had, especially in the last, let's say, 10 years or 12 years. I mean, that 2010 group was special. The 1999 group probably should have won it had it not been for politics yet again, with the I think it was a salary increase back then issue that they had, and Bob Skinstad being in a car accident. And since 2010, the Stormers have always been, I think up until 2013, they've always been around the top teams, and then things started to slump year in and year out. They would make the playoffs but then lose quarterfinals, or they would end badly 11th. And it's frustrating because the Cape region has such an abundance of talent, the same as the Boland region. It's actually a travesty that Boland isn't a super team, because they have such great talent in their pools, but they are merely a feeder system for other teams, for the bigger unions. So, and again, if you look at the administration, I'm not going to mention names, but people working at Boland have been called out for administration issues that hasn't gone well. So yeah, like I said, there's been misadministration and amateurism, and it's going to cost Boland even further. They're really down on their knees, and if Western Province don't watch it, they're going to be in deeper shit than they think. Sorry for the profanity, but they're going to be in way bigger trouble than they are now. And what they're doing now is a temporary solution. So if they do get this investor on board and give him 51%, things can look good. But if they're gonna, do it their own way and want to keep the majority of the share, and that guy won't budge, I'm afraid it's gonna be big trouble. I saw on Twitter, I think it was 2 nights ago, I was up late not last night, but 2 nights ago. Brendan, now the journalist, said the way things are going now in Western Province, you wouldn't be surprised if they are going to be like the Kings in 2 years and be taken over by SA Rugby. I mean, a proud union that won 34 Currie Cups, has such a broad base of talent, had the most Springboks in the World Cup last year. It's going to be a travesty if that should happen to Western Province Rugby. But in any case, guys, thanks again for joining Rapid Chats with Angus. I promise I probably will try to be back. A good friend of mine asked me, why aren't you doing videos anymore? You know what, guys, I've been lazy. I've been super lazy, and I didn't always have the time. I know it's no excuse, but you know, it's work during the day, it's gym after work, and after that you're just so tired you don't want to do anything else. But you know what, I started a video channel for the purpose of, you know, bringing rugby content to people. And I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna put in more effort next time. This was just to give you guys an update of some recent affairs and some scores and some matches that caught my eye, but I will be better prepared next time. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here, and I haven't passed away yet, and I haven't had corona yet, by the way, so I'm still good to go. I haven't been sick all year, touch wood. But yeah, guys, thanks again for tuning in. I do appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you guys soon, definitely after the next weekend's action. Um, I'm not gonna say which date, maybe on Monday or Tuesday. I will upload another video. But for now, you guys must keep safe, keep warm, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.